say something, and then I'll open it for questions. Is that okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Absolutely fine.
All right. And I have sharing rights?
Yeah, you will have, Maharaj. You have all the rights.
Yeah, if you
Uh,
just give me the rights. I need the rights. All right. Okay, everyone. So first of all, thank you deeply
Krishna
for
Priya,
inviting me.
rights.
I have done it, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you deeply for inviting me, Krishna Priya Mataji. Also, thank you for your invitation, and it's my honor to be with you. When we come on Zoom calls, we don't know always who we're speaking to, and most of you are probably more advanced than me, more knowledgeable than me. So please be patient with me. I'll try to share with you some things. And please have your questions ready. You can put them on the chat or you can just keep them in your mind. And after about 45 minutes, 1 hour, I'll open up. And today we're covering 15, 16, 17, and 18 of Isopanisad. I will cover some general things with you first, and then I will cover two main concepts that come from these verses, and then we'll have a discussion, and we'll end in 1.5 hours because for you it's late. So we'll see how it goes. Om Dhasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Barijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and I'll write some notes. And for those of you who may want it, I can also share these slides later on. So if that helps, then I can also share. That's possible. All right. So thank you again, everyone. You all are coming together to study scripture. And what I want to begin by telling you is this is the most wonderful thing you can do in your life because we can't change the world around us. The world around us, things happen, people do things. We're not in control. Krishna is in control, but we are not. But one thing we are in control of is our own vision, isn't it? How we see the world, that is up to us. And in Sanskrit, your vision is called your darshan, isn't it? Darshan comes from the Sanskrit word drishya, which means to see. In English, sometimes they use the word worldview. Worldview means how you see the world. Because two people can see the same thing and they can see very different things according to their darshan. And what Shastra basically explains is that your darshan is made up of three things: condition, interaction, and one more thing. Condition means your nature, isn't it? All of us are born and then we have a certain nature. Some of us are very fearful of everything. Some of us are very bold. Some of us are quiet. So we have, in Sanskrit, this is known as swabhav. We all have a swabhav on this call. Isn't it? Even sometimes you see twins are born and they look exactly the same, but their nature is very different. Therefore, all of us have a different condition, and according to conditioning, we see life in a certain way. But then there is also interaction. In psychology, we call this nurture. This means your sangha, your association with different things in this life. For example, if in someone's childhood years they underwent some difficulty, then this very much shapes the way they see the world, isn't it? We see like that. So, therefore, if you look at modern psychology, then they say basically a person is made up of nature plus nurture, like that. But our Shastra is basically explaining that there's one more thing. Even if your condition and your interaction is in a certain way, there's one more thing that can change the way you look at life. And that is what we call connection. And connection with what? Shastra, specifically. We have the opportunity to develop something called Shastra Chaksus, or sometimes we say Jnana Chaksus. In other words, we have the ability to see the world through the eyes of Shastra. We have the opportunity to see the world through the eyes of knowledge. And if we do, oh, sorry, you lost my iPad? Let me try again. Okay.
So you're back.
Yeah, I'm back now. Yeah. Okay. So this is why Shastra is so powerful, because it can change the way you see the world. And remember, we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. And therefore, if you develop spiritual vision, spiritual darshan, your whole life will change. You don't need to wait to get the perfect job, or you don't need to wait to meet the perfect person. You don't need to wait till this problem disappears in your life before you can be happy. You can be happy now if you change your darshan. And therefore, time you spend with scripture is very, very powerful. And so, Shastra changes our vision. And I'm just giving you a little preface, then we'll go into Isopanisad. In Gita, Gyan is compared to four things: Agni, Plava, Ashina, Deepena. Agni means, you know, fire. Knowledge is like a fire. Why? Because if you have transcendental knowledge, then it can burn up karma that you're meant to receive. Karma is meant to educate you, but if you learn the knowledge through scripture, then much of your karma can disappear. Therefore, jnana is like a agni, it's like a fire. Gyan is also like a plava. Plava means a boat, because this world is like a material ocean and there are constant waves up and down. But when you're in the boat, although you're in the ocean, you're protected from the waves. So Gyan is a knowledge which can protect you from the waves of miseries that are inevitable in this world. Gyan is also like a ashina. Ashina means a sword. A sword is very sharp, and what a sword does is it cuts. So, what does knowledge do? It cuts away all of your doubts. Sometimes we have doubts about God. Sometimes we have doubts about the movement. Sometimes we have doubts about ourselves. Sometimes we have doubts about other devotees. So many doubts are there. So when you have strong knowledge, then your doubts disappear, and you become fixed, determined. Sudridamanash is said. Your mind becomes very strong. And knowledge is like a deepena, which means a lamp, because the material world is very dark. And if all the lights go out, then you need to find the door. But how will you find the door? You need a lamp. And therefore, knowledge is like a lamp which always reminds you how to get out of this world, the exit. So it keeps us awake to the exit of the material world like this. So Gyan is very powerful. Therefore, there are many types of Shastra. Here, if you see, one type of Shastra is known as Mula Grantha. Mula Grantha means the root scriptures, the most important, providing the basis of everything. So we can say like Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. Now we're studying Isopanisad. These are like Mula Grantha because they tell you like the foundational knowledge that you need to understand. And then there is Saidantika Grantha, which means those scriptures which expound more on philosophical detail. So, for example, Jiva Goswami writes the Sandarbhas, and then there are commentaries on the Mula Grantha. So, these expound Siddhanta or philosophical conclusion in detail. Then there is Vedic Grantha, which means how do you practice this knowledge in your life? How do you practice devotional service? So then there are scriptures like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction. So you're studying those also. These are about practice. And then there are scriptures which describe about the Lord's name, qualities, pastimes, his form. So Bhagavatam, CC come under that category. And then there are scriptures which are very much like prayers. So like Prema Bhakti Chandrika of Narottam Das Thakur, Saranagati Bhaktivinoda Thakur, like that. So this is just one way to break down scripture. But basically what we're sharing with you is that there's lots to learn. And if you learn, then your vision changes. And when your vision changes, your life changes. So you're doing amazing by doing this, and keep doing it more and more. So now you are studying Isopanisad. So I'm sure you've done this, but I'm just making sure that you're having context. So Isopanisad comes here, if you can see, in the Upanishads section of the Vedas. So Vedas have two main sections, Shruti and Smriti. And in the Shruti, the oldest literatures are what we call the four Samhitas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva Veda. So these are very, very ancient scriptures, but what they're mainly dealing with is sacrifices. So then, one level deeper than the Samhitas is what we call the Brahmanas. So the Brahmanas, what they do is they give extra detail on how to perform the sacrifices. But then deeper than the Brahmanas is what we call the Aranyakas. And what the Aranyakas do is they give philosophical understanding of why the sacrifices are done in this way. But then it said deeper than the Aranyakas are the Upanishads, because the Upanishads explain the philosophy behind why we should even be doing all these sacrifices. So do you understand? From Samhitas to Brahmanas to Aranyakas to Upanishads, you're getting deeper and deeper. First one is sacrifice. Second one is about more detailed practice of the sacrifice. Third one is what is the philosophy behind the sacrifice. And fourth one, Upanishads, is what is the philosophy behind all of this and why we're even here. Therefore, this is mainly dealing with karma kanda. But Upanishads is dealing with jnana kanda, or the knowledge aspect. And then Upanishads, I'm going to now draw here. Upanishads, see here, Vedanta, and then Itihas here, you have Mahabharata and then Bhagavad Gita. So I'm now Bhagavad Gita. These three, oh, sorry, Krishna. These three, forget this one, are known as Prasthanatrayi. Maybe you heard of this. But these three are understood to be the three most important literatures that one must understand: the Upanishads, Vedanta, and Bhagavad Gita. So even as Vaishnavas, we follow this because we read Isopanishad because it's considered the essence of Upanishads. We study Vedanta, but we don't study Vedanta directly. We study Bhagavatam because Bhagavatam is the commentary on Vedanta. And Bhagavad Gita we study. So Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Ishopanishad, we can say this is like our Prasthanatrayi. And if you understand these three, then basically uh, everything is done. So I'm just opening this for you so you understand a little bit about why this is so powerful, what we're doing here. Um, okay, before I go on to the shlokas, let me just stop for 1 second. Before I go on to the shlokas, I will describe them. So far, does anyone have any question? Because otherwise, I'm giving you a lot of information. So I just want to see if anyone has any question. You can put your hand up if anyone has a question. Okay. Am I giving you too much information? It's okay? Good? Okay. All right. Yes, Daya.
Hare Krishna, Maharaji, and Pranam. Accept my humble obeisance.
My pronouns.
First of all, I'm very glad to have your association directly on Zoom because I used to follow you in Instagram. That's why. And my question is like, why there is so much need of lots of Upanishad and like we have Vedic, we have Gita. That should be enough. Why there is no need of lots of scriptures?
Thank you so much. Yes, why is there need for so many different types of scriptures? Basically, Vedic teachings are what we call multi-level spirituality, right? So in most of the world religions, they are not multi-level. They say, do this, and if you don't do this, then finished. You're going to go to hell. What the Vedas do is they provide what we call a ladder of progression. So there are many types of people who are desiring many different types of things and who have many different types of consciousness. So what the Vedas does is it gives different scripture which will be attractive and which will be relevant to people who are at different levels of spiritual consciousness. And then what the Vedas does is as soon as they enter at that level, then through the process, they can elevate themselves more and more. So basically, it's like you can imagine sometimes at school, they may have a maths class, but may have a maths class for those who are very advanced, for those who are intermediate, and for those who are basic. And so there are different textbooks according to which class you're in. But all of them are teaching maths. So the Vedas is like that. So Upanishads are for those who are seeking impersonal liberation. Karma Kanda is for those who want to enjoy materially. And then Bhakti Scripture, Bhakti Shastra is for those who want to awaken love. So there are different scriptures. for different people. All right. Thank you. Anyone else before I carry on? Otherwise, I can carry on. Okay. Okay. Tulsi Devi, yeah.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, you have mentioned about Gyan, okay? Gyan, like Gyan looks like Agni, Deepena, okay? So I want to know that why we are categorizing this. Like simply we can say na that it's a Gyan. So
Yeah,
and
we are
I have
not.
also
Krishna
another
is
question.
Krishna. Krishna is categorizing it. So, for example, Krishna will say, Deshamivanukam partham aham ajnanacham tamaha nasayamyatma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvata. Krishna says it, right? Or Krishna will say in the Bhagavad Gita, for example, apichet ashipapebhyo sarvebhyo papakritama sarvam jnana plaveneva vrijinam santarishashi. Krishna will say it's like a bow. So why do we categorize it like this? Because jnana does many different things. So to help us understand what Gyan will do in your life, how it will benefit you, we give different metaphors. So when we say Gyan is like a boat, then we're referring to one way in which knowledge will help you in your life. When we say Gyan is like a sword, we're explaining one other effect that Gyan will have in your life. So one thing, Gyan, can have many effects, isn't it? Right? So each metaphor is describing a different effect, isn't it? Like, say, for example, in Shikshashtakam, you know Shikshashtakam. So the first verse, how many effects are given of the holy name in the first verse? Do you remember? Anyone want to unmute? How many effects of the holy name are given in the first verse of Shikshashtakam?
7.
Seven. Thank you very much. 7 effects are given. And there are different metaphors. Sometimes we use the metaphor of a moon, isn't it? Chandrika, we say. Or sometimes we use the metaphor of a ocean, Anandam, Buddhivardhanam. See? So different metaphors describe different effects. Is that okay?
I have another question also.
All
Okay,
right.
so you have mentioned that like you have given an example of textbooks. In different classes, we have a different maths book, but all our teaching is maths. Okay, so sometimes it's like very difficult for us to choose which book, like in which class we are or which book we have to read.
Hmm.
We have so much shastras. I know, like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they are enough, but still we have Upanishads. So how can we get to know what is the real shastra?
That's
Like
why we created Bhakti Shastri course to tell you just study these 4. That's the main. So basically the acharyas. Therefore, Shastra is never studied independently. What do you need along with Shastra? There's 3 things. You know that. Who wants to say what are the 3 things that you need to study? Something, something, Shastra.
Guru Sadhu Shastra.
Thank you.
Yes.
Guru Sadhu Shastra Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya. Narottam says, study Shastra along with Guru and Sadhu because they can help you understand what Shastra you should study and how you should study it. Okay?
okay, thank you.
All right. Yes, Mataji, Kashish.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Danda Pranam. I want to ask why Isha Upanishad? As we have many Upanishads, but we are here reading Isha Upanishad. So why?
Yes, according to Vaishnavacharyas, Isopanishad is the essence, is telling you the most important information. And the unique thing about Isopanishad is that it is bringing you to a personal understanding. Most of the Upanishads, they are only dealing with the impersonal. But today, this is a good question now. From your question, I will move on because Ishopanishad is very unique because it's Upanishad which is generally focusing on impersonal, but Ishopanishad is now hinting that there is something beyond the impersonal, the personal. And therefore, for Vaishnavas, they understand that Ishopanishad is very, very unique in this sense in the Upanishads because it's illuminating that yes, beyond the Brahmajyoti, there is something else. Okay? Yes, Krishna Priya, Sri Radha Mataji.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. There's a question in the chat from Kanchana Varna Gaurangi Mataji. She wants to ask why Gita is also called Gita Upanishad.
Yeah, very good question. Because if you look at the nature of the Gita and much of the knowledge that's given in the Gita is very similar to the Upanishads. For example, like I give you an example, in Gita, sometimes we find this understanding of the senses, the mind, the intelligence. You know, this is basically exactly the same as what is described in Katha Upanishad. And therefore, you'll find even these Upanishads are quoted in Prabhupada's purports. So, Gita, although it's strictly Itihas and Smriti, sometimes it's classed as Gita Upanishad because the nature of the knowledge is very similar to what's found in the Upanishads. Like that. Yeah, good question. All right, so let us continue on. While I bring my slides up, can I ask someone to unmute and read out 15 and 16 mantra? If someone can do that for me. Anyone can do it. Whoever feels inspired and whoever. Yes, Naina, you can read it. Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please go ahead. Yes, Naina, would you like to read 15 and 16?
Yes.
Turn on to that page.
Oh my translation, only translation.
Yes, only translation 15 and 16.
Translation. O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee.
Very good. And 16?
Translation Mantra 16 translation. O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the Son as am I.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, so these two verses, they are talking about the impersonal feature. Okay, so now you have to remember the Supreme Lord has three features. There is a very famous verse from the Bhagavatam. If someone can put the reference up on the chat, please do. The verse goes, Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. So if someone can find that verse and put it for everyone's reference, there, I think someone has put it, no? Yes, thank you, Mataji. Thank you. So, Supreme Lord has three features: Brahman, Paramatma, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So sometimes what is explained is it's like three people went to a train station and they wanted to understand what is a train. So they were standing on the platform, and then in the distance they saw the light, headlights, and they saw smoke and they heard a sound. And the first person said, I know what is a train. It's sound, light, and steam. And then he left. The other two waited longer, then the train came. The second person said, oh, I know what is a train. It's sound, it's light, it's steam, but there's also carriages. And then he left. And the third person waited longer, and then people came out of the train. And he said, oh, I know what a train is. It's light, steam, sound, there are carriages, and there are people inside who go from one place to another. Now, all of them understood something about the train, but the person who waited the longest, the third person, he understood everything about the train. So, Brahman means just the energy of the Lord. Like the first person who came to the train station, he just thought a train means this light and smoke and sound. The Paramatma is to know the localized aspect of the Supreme Lord who's in everyone's heart. But Bhagavan means to understand the person. And these are manifestations of Bhagavan. So if you understand Bhagavan, then you understand all three. But if you only understand Brahman, then you only have a partial understanding. So therefore, what this verse is saying is that let us not be blinded by the Brahman and forget that behind that Brahman, underneath that Brahman, beyond that Brahman is Bhagavan, the person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead who we can have a relationship with. Therefore, in the world today, you will find that there are different philosophies. Okay? Every philosophy in the world will describe Tattva Traya. Yeah, this is good for you to know. Every philosophy will describe three things: who is God, what is the world, Jagat, and who is the soul. Every philosophy has to explain these three things, and every philosophy has to explain two more things. Why is the jiva in this world? Baddha, how did it get bound? And how can the jiva escape from this world? So every philosophy will have to answer these questions. So there is a philosophy called Mayavad, which I'm sure you've heard of because Srila Prabhupada talks about Mayavad a lot. So Mayavadis say the world is unreal. And they say even the jiva is an illusion. They say these things are not there, it's only Brahman. Therefore, they make a statement, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. This is Mayavad philosophy, that only Brahman is true and everything else is an illusion. However, the Vaishnavas say no, this is not the fact. The world is real, the jiva is real, and the Supreme is real, And the Supreme has three features: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is the ultimate feature, and Bhagavan and Jiva have a relationship of love. And therefore, if we are able to reawaken our relationship of love with Bhagavan, then we will feel complete satisfaction of the soul. And so, different teachers over the ages have taught different things. Who knows who the first person in this picture is on the left-hand side? Who is this?
Lord Buddha.
Buddha, very good. So Buddha, he taught something called Shunyavad. Shunyavad means everything is zero. Shunya means zero, nothingness. So he said the goal of life is nirvan, nothingness. So then who is the next person in this line of teaching?
Shankaracharya.
Shankara, very good. Shankaracharya. And Shankaracharya taught something called Mayavad. Mayavadam asachastram prachanam bodhamuchyate mayave nihitam devi kalo brahmana murtina. Who is Shankaracharya originally? Anyone wants to say?
Lord Shiva.
Shiva, very good. So Shiva becomes Shankaracharya and he teaches Mayavad. He says everything is one. Oneness. Then who's the next teacher here?
Ramanuja.
Ramanuja, very good. And Ramanuja teaches something called Vishishta Dvaita. Vishishta Dvaita. So he says, yes, everything is one, but he qualifies the oneness. He says everything is one in quality, but not in quantity. So therefore, he establishes dualism, two. Then who's the next teacher?
Madhvacharya.
Madhva, very good. And Madhva teaches something called Shuddha Dvaita. So he comes to completely defeat Mayavad. Sometimes it's said, Vayu. Vayu says, first I came as Hanuman, and then I defeated Ravan. Then later on, Vayu says, I came as Bhima. And as Bhima, I defeated the Kauravas. And then Vayu says, later on, I came as Madhva. And as Madhva, I defeated Shankara. So sometimes this is said like this. So he is, his hand is always like this too, because he is stressing dualism, dualism too. And then who's the next teacher? Of course, all of you know
Lord
this.
Chaitanya.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what is his philosophy called?
Achintya Bheda Bhed.
Achintya Bheda.
Very good. Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. So Buddha says 0, Shankaracharya says 1, Ramanuja says 2, Madhva says 2, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says 1 and 2. We are one with God and we're also simultaneously different. And then these are the Goswamis of Vrindavan. And what they do is they systemize this philosophy of Mahaprabhu, especially in the Sandarbhas. Okay. So why am I sharing all of this with you? Because this shloka and the purport is telling us that there are three features of the Supreme Lord: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And because our desire is to experience ananda or happiness, we can never experience the happiness simply through understanding Brahman. because Brahman, Jiva Goswami, says the Supreme Lord, but there's no material potency and no spiritual potency. Paramatma is the Supreme Lord having material potency to function in the material world, but not displaying spiritual potency. But Bhagavan is the Supreme Lord who exhibits potency in the material world and potency. Therefore, Brahmano hi pratistaham. Everything is resting on Bhagavan. So there is a constant. Sometimes we kind of we joke and we say there is a. Oops, Krishna. Sometimes we joke and we say there's an ongoing debate between the Vaishnavas and the Mayavadis. Because the Mayavadis say, Soham, isn't it? Soham means I am that Brahman. But then the Vaishnavas, they come along and they say, no, Dasoham. You are a servant. But then the Mayavadi comes along and says, no, Sada Soham. You are always one. And then the Vaishnava comes along and says, no, Daso Ham. You're the servant of the servant. So like this, it said that the debate always goes on between the Mayavadis and the Vaishnavas. But the Vaishnavas, and here in Sri Isopanisad, we're learning the prayer is that remove this Brahman. Don't become blinded by the Brahman. Understand that there is a Supreme Lord behind that who you can have a relationship with. And that is the purpose of, of spiritual life. So, yes, let me stop sharing here. And so let me now ask you if you have any questions on impersonalism, on shlokas 15 and 16. Is there anything in the purport that was mentioned that is difficult for you to understand? Or is there anything more you would like me to explain or help you to understand? Then you can ask your questions now. Anyone would like to ask a question? Yes, Kanchana Varna, Gaurangi Mataji.
Hi Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. Maharaj, I have this question. What does it mean that Brahman has no material and spiritual potency? And I couldn't understand that point because that is also one sort of liberation that the Brahmavadis or Mayavadis they aspire for. And
When I say Brahmana, I meant Brahman here, not Brahmana, Brahman. So when I say Brahman, Brahman is the Supreme Lord, but it's not exhibiting any material or spiritual potency in the sense that it is not interacting with the material world or it's not interacting with the spiritual world. It's just energy. Paramatma is the Supreme Lord, but is only exhibiting potency by interacting with the material world. Srila Prabhupada explains that there is no Paramatma in the same way in the spiritual world. The Paramatma exists in the material world. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridayasya Arjuna Distati, to direct the wandering living beings in the material world. But once the living being goes back to the spiritual world, then the Paramatma doesn't interact in the same way. Therefore, Paramatma is exhibiting interaction with the material world, but not interaction in the spiritual world. But Bhagavan is representing interaction here in this world because Krishna comes as a deity, Krishna comes as an avatar, Krishna comes and personally acts in the material world, and at the same time, Krishna is Goloka eva nivasatya kilatma. Krishna is there in Goloka and he's acting there. So therefore, this is what Jiva Goswami is saying. That does that make sense?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. All right. Simal, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhuji, I have to ask that Shankaracharya is considered as an incarnation of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva is a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. Then why does Shankaracharya's philosophy emphasize impersonalism?
Yes. So you have to understand that sometimes the Lord arranges, or great devotees arrange for certain things in order to create an improvement. For example, Buddha is also Krishna. Keshavadhrita Buddha Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Yet Buddha denied the Vedas. So someone may say, well, Krishna says, Vedanta Krit, Vedavit, Eva Chaham. I'm the creator of the Vedas. Then why does the very same Krishna incarnate to deny the Vedas? It doesn't make sense, someone may say. But there was a purpose. Krishna, as Buddha, denies the Vedas to first establish ahimsa. Because unless one is non-violent, you won't be able to understand the Vedas. So therefore, he has to deny the Vedas to first establish non-violence, and then people can understand the Vedas. Similarly, Shankaracharya comes after Buddha to basically say what Buddha is teaching is okay, but he made one mistake. He didn't teach that the Vedas are true. So Shankaracharya's goal is to establish the Vedas again. And then once the Vedas are established, then people will be able to understand more about Bhagavan. But first, Shankaracharya has to present something which is close to Buddhism, but different from Buddhism, with the main purpose of establishing the Vedas, right? So, although he preaches Mayavad, his contribution is that he establishes the authority of the Vedas again. And once the authority of the Vedas have been explained, has been established, then other Vaishnavacharyas can come later on and establish the goal of the Vedas like that, right? So you have to understand every link has a certain purpose. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Jagdish? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Jagdish Giridhari Prabhu. Prabhu, we can't hear you. Although you're unmuted, somehow we can't hear you. Oh, okay, Prabhu, what you may have to do is type your question on the chat because somehow we can't hear you. Yeah. Barka Mataji?
I have a question that in the verse it says that kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. Just like we said it, we got three extensions: Paramatma, Brahman,
Mataji,
Paramatma, and
somehow I can't hear you very well. It's like very difficult to listen. Can you?
now. Am I
Now
audible?
it's better. Yes, now it's better. Yes.
So my question was that in the verse it says that kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. We studied the three expansions right now, just like you said, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. So I want to know which covering they are mostly talking about. Is it to see the form of Bhagwan or Paramatma or Brahman?
Yeah. So the Brahman is like the effulgence of Krishna, isn't it? Like Krishna is radiant and then he's having an effulgence. So the Brahma Jyoti or the Brahman is said to be the effulgence of Krishna. But sometimes when the effulgence is so blinding, is so enchanting, that one cannot understand what is beyond that, isn't it? Like say, for example, when you wake up in the morning and someone puts the someone puts the lights on, then immediately like so much light, you can't even see the door, right? So when someone sees the Brahman, sometimes they cannot see beyond anything because it's so dazzling, it's so enchanting. So the prayer here is that let me not be satisfied with only seeing the Brahman. Remove that which is blinding me from understanding that there is Bhagavan who is behind this, right? In a very famous verse in the Gita, Krishna explains that he is the basis of the impersonal Brahman. This is a very important verse to know. I'll just show you it on the screen. So basically, in answer to your question, basically, Ramanohi Radista yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to bring this up so you can see it. So if you have access, then it's 1427. I'll just show you here. Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratistaham amrityasya vyayasya cha. I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. So Krishna says, I am the basis of impersonal Brahman. So when he says, remove the Brahman covering, he's saying, remove this effulgence so I can see that you are behind it and I can relate to you. All right?
Maharaj, one more, a
Yes.
little
Yes.
confusion. It's like these three expansions, can we say that these are the ladder, like one will always come across Brahman, or they can directly start from the realization of Bhagavan?
Through bhakti is said to be like an elevator. So when you are in an elevator, then you don't need to stop at every floor. So in one sense, we can say that yes, Krishna is this is like an elevator. Let me show you one other thing. So it's all about it's like a yoga ladder. Let me show you this. Yes, I can. So you see this? There are different types of yogas. Can you see this window?
Yes.
Yeah. So you see here, Brahman realized. So you can go, this is like first there's animal life, then there's human life, then you're going gradually higher, then you can realize Brahman, then you can realize Paramatma, and then Bhagavan is the ultimate. But it's said that through Bhakti Yoga, you can go directly from animal life, you like surpass all of this and you go direct here like this. You don't need to go through all these processes because everything is contained within bhakti. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. Got it.
All right. Yes, Krishna Priya Mataji.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, I have a question from the purport of text 16. Here, Prabhupada's mentioned that within the sun itself, it's the first para, within the sun itself reside the sun god, and similarly within the supreme spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan, from which the Brahma Jyoti effulgence is emanating. And in previous verse, Prabhupada mentioned in purport of text 12 that in the Brahma Jyoti, spiritual world or Golok Vrindavan resides. And in this purport, Prabhupada is mentioning that Brahma Jyoti is coming, like it's emanating from the spiritual world or Golok Vrindavan. So I'm feeling like it's, for me, it's like a contradicting. So can you please clarify it? Thank you.
So you're saying in the 12th purport, it says that the Goloka is within the Brahma Jyoti. And
Yes.
here it seems to be saying that the Brahma Jyoti is coming from the planet, like that?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, yes. See, the thing is, the Brahma Jyoti, if you try, it's not it's not like a substance, like like I have a bottle here. So it's like we can't say like the Brahma Jyoti is like a bottle, like it's an energy. And energies kind of pervade. So in one sense, like say for example, the sun and the sun rays. Take this example. So obviously the sun rays are coming from the sun, obviously, right? So that's like an obvious point. But when the sun shines, everything is illuminated around the sun, and then it's almost like the sun is within all of that sunshine, isn't it? Do you understand my point? So like the sun is coming from the sunshine is coming from the sun, but the sunshine is so all pervading that almost if you look from another perspective, someone will say, well, the sun is within all of that sunshine. So that's how the Brahma Jyoti can be described to be coming from Goloka or coming from the body of Krishna. And at the same time, everything can be said to be situated within the Brahma Jyoti, like that. All right.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Was there any question on the chats?
No, Maharaj. I think Jagdish Prabhu wants to ask, but he didn't send it on the chat. So,
Yes, there is a question on chat.
oh, yes. Yes, Maharaj.
So another from Bina also.
Yes, Maharaj, two questions. I'm sorry.
Okay, can you read it out for me?
Mm. So, Maharaj, Jagdish Prabhu wants to ask, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described as complete and perfect. So, how come the emanations coming from him sometimes categorized as partial or plenary expansion, not exhibiting the complete features as the Supreme Personality in his original form?
Thank you so much. Nice question. Yes. See, we have the terms perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. Just like in Gita, we have the terms confidential, more confidential, and most confidential. In one sense, they're all confidential, but then there's also a hierarchy. So, in the same way, there is perfection in all of Krishna's emanations, even the material world, even the different avatars, yet there is also a hierarchy. And that's why some of them are described as partial, in the sense that they're not fully evolved as the most perfect Supreme Lord. But at the same time, even though they're partial, they're perfect. Like you can say, if there's confidential, more confidential, and most confidential, then confidential can only be partial knowledge because there's more confidential. However, it's still perfect because it's confidential. So, so this is it's simultaneously one and different, right? So like the partial representations are simultaneously the same as Krishna and different. That means they're simultaneously perfect and simultaneously only partial. Is both. If you can't understand that, very good, because you can't understand it logically. This is a spiritual mathematics. Yeah? All right. Was there another question on the chat?
Maharaj, you have your hand up. Roshni.
Oh, yes, Roshni. Yes, Roshni, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Janat Pranam. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Yes.
Maharaj, as you said that Shankaracharya came to establish the Vedas, as Vedas said that God is personal, then why Mayavadis consider God as impersonal feature?
Remember, Brahmaiti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdete. So Krishna has an impersonal feature. So some people decide to focus on that. So I should qualify. Vaishnavas understand all three. Okay? Brahmavadis focus on Brahman, and either they don't know about Paramatma and Bhagavan, or they accept Paramatma and Bhagavan, but they prefer Brahman. This is Brahmavadi. And then there is Mayavadi, who say there is Brahman and everything else is illusion, including Bhagavan and Paramatma is Maya. Only Brahman. Brahma Satyam, everything else Maya. So there is a difference between a Mayavadi and a Brahmavadi, right? So my point is that Brahman is a feature of the Supreme Lord. So there's no problem with that. The problem is when you accept Brahman as everything and then you forget that Bhagavan is behind it. So what Shankaracharya basically taught to the world was something partial. But he had to teach that because Buddhism had taken personal God out completely. So to immediately introduce a personal God would have been too difficult. So what Shankaracharya instead did was that he established that there is God, but it's impersonal. And he established the Vedas. So he taught something very close. Prachanam Bodha Muchyate. He said it's like covered Buddhism. Because if you teach something too different, then people can't accept it. So you have to teach something that's close, but then also do something different. And the difference was he established the Vedas.
Then
Does this
people
help?
who serve on the impersonal feature of the God, can they get liberation?
People who serve impersonal, they will make some kind of advancement and they have the potential of getting liberation because they're in touch with the Vedas. So therefore, for example, in Shastra, you find many who are worshipping Brahman who then change. Can anyone on the call give me an example of someone who was worshipping Brahman impersonal who later on became a devotee?
Hare
Four
Krishna
Kumaras and
Maharaj.
Shukadev.
and Shukadev Goswami. For
Sukadev Goswami, four Kumaras. So the idea is that even if you're worshipping the impersonal, there is an opportunity for elevation. All right? Yes, Shobha.
Hare Krishna Maharaji, Dandavat Pranam. Maharaji, as we were talking about the perfection, then as we know, Krishna is the most perfect. Then why, as we are also the emanation of Krishna, then why we are not perfect?
You are perfect, but you've forgotten. Krishna bahir mukha hoya bhoga vancha kare nikata stamaya tare japatiya dhare. You are perfect. You are Sachitananda. But Krishna bahir mukha. You turn away from Krishna. Then if you turn away from Krishna, then Maya comes in. And when you become covered by Maya, then you forget who you are. And therefore you act again in an imperfect way. So if we use our free will perfectly, then we experience our perfection. But if we use our free will imperfectly, then we experience imperfection. Is that okay? All right. Yes, Devika? Yes, Devika Mataji? Oh, you're frozen, looks like.
There's a chat. There's a question on chat by Beena.
Oh,
Question by Bina on
Yeah,
chat.
yeah.
Okay.
It's like a Kathasis,
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna. I would like to ask a question not related to Isopanisad. What if there are constantly troubles which come in life, like death, disease? How to have patience? At that time, we mentally become disturbed, and I'm unable to take live classes of Bhakti Shastri. How to be consistent and motivated when there are difficulties in life. Mataji, what can I say? I think I addressed your question at the beginning of the talk. You can't change the world around you, but you can change the way you look at it. You can change your darshan. You can see that in all of this difficulty, Krishna is teaching me very powerful lessons. In all this difficulty, I can remember that I'm not meant for this world. In all this difficulty, I can realize that if I try to be happy here, I will be frustrated. And if you see all of these lessons, then it can make you more consistent. It can make you more devoted, and it can bring you closer to Krishna. So the problem is not the problem. I'll say that again. The problem is not the problem. The problem is the way you see the problem. And how are you going to see the problem differently? If you study the scriptures, if you associate with the devotees, if you disconnect from devotees and from scripture when you have problems, all that's going to happen is that the problem is going to grow. Therefore, it's a great opportunity. It's difficult. I tell people spiritual life is difficult. Material life is impossible. It's difficult to come to Bhakti Shastri. It's difficult to continue your spiritual practices. Mataji, if you don't, it's going to be impossible. So the choice is ours. All right. Okay, let me say something about the last shloka, and then I will give 15 minutes of last discussion. Krishna Priya Mataji, how are we doing for time?
Maharaj, we are still having half hour, but I
Okay,
think
I'll be done within half hour.
okay.
Okay, let me just get my screen on again. Okay, everyone. So now we are discussing the last two shlokas. These are the final shlokas of Isopanishad. Can someone unmute and read the translations to these? Yes, Hitika, are you going to read the translations for us?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, go for it.
Uh,
Have you frozen?
Mantra 17. Let this temporary body be burned. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hitika, somehow your connection is not the best. Maybe you need to take your video off.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Yes, you're better
Is
now.
this, okay. Let this temporary body be burned to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. Mantra 18 Translation O my Lord, as powerful as fire, O omnipotent one, now I offer you all obeisances, falling on the ground at your feet. O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you. And since you know all that I have done in the past, please free me from the reactions to my past sins, so that there will be no hindrance to my progress.
Thank you so much. Yes. So in these shlokas, what is being described is death and dying. When Yudhishthira was asked by Yamaraj, what is the most amazing thing in the world? What was his answer? Can anyone say?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Tanvat Pranams. Maharaj, can I?
Yes.
Yudhishthira Maharaj replied, he said, people see the death of other people and still they don't realize that their death will come.
Exactly. Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti hayamalayam shesha stavaramichanti kim aschariyam ataparam. What can be more amazing than this? We think I will not die. This is amazing. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Janma, Mrityu, Jada, Vyadi, Dukha, Dosha. Who knows the last word?
Anudarshanam.
Anudarshanam. Thank you. If I tell you you should go and have darshan, then generally we think, okay, we'll go and see Krishna. Very good. That darshan you should definitely have. But Krishna is saying, I want you to have another darshan. Every single day, you should have the darshan that this world is a place of suffering. You should have the darshan that death is knocking on your door. You should understand that the body is a ticking time bomb. Understand? Time bomb? Time bomb means it's gonna explode and we don't know when. It's going to break down at one point. And so here in these two verses, what is being described is how one is able to, at death, reach the supreme destination, right? Basically, our future is determined by our activity, isn't it? Your karma. And your activity includes what is your intention behind the activity, what is your attention that you give to the activity, and what actual activities do you do. And then added to this is your history. What activities have you done in this life, other activities? And what activities are you bringing from a previous life? And basically, all of this will create a type of remembrance. And that remembrance will create your destiny. And according to that destiny, you will come back in the world again to do it all over again if it's material. So, in this verse, is describing the soul is praying that let me, please Krishna, I may not be able to remember you, but you please remember me. You remember everything that I did. In one sense, there's no need to pray because Krishna will always reciprocate. Krishna never forgets. Krishna says, any advancement on this path protects you from the most dangerous type of fear. But still, the devotee, out of humility, prays that the Lord may help. And so, this verse is very, very famous because when we go to funerals, we always chant this verse when someone passes away and we do the final rites, the final ceremony. Then we always chant this verse from the Isopanisad, Vayo Ranilam. So this is basically what happens. So you understand the science of the soul. This is basic Bhagavad Gita. Physical body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. Subtle body is made up of mind, intelligence, and ego. People think that they are the mind. You're not the mind. The mind is simply an instrument that you're using. So you are the soul, and the soul is Sat, Chit, Ananda. And there is one type of consciousness where the soul is simply emitting consciousness through the subtle and physical body. This is known as waking consciousness, Jagruti. Then there is a type of consciousness where the soul is simply expressing itself through the subtle body. This is known as swapna, dreaming. And then there is a type of consciousness where the soul is not even able to express anything subtly or physically, but is still present. This is known as shushupti, or dreamless sleep. For example, someone who is in a coma state. However, there's a fourth type of consciousness. Does anyone know what the fourth type of consciousness is called?
Fourth one. Turiya.
Turiya, thank you so much, Prabhu. Yes. Fourth dimension is known as Turiya, spiritually wakeful state. And this is where the soul is actually expressing itself in the deepest sense. So, I won't go through all of this, but there is so much evidence of the soul. Intuitively, we know that we are not this body. When someone dies, we say they've passed away. Even when we refer to ourselves, we say, my mind, my brain, my body. We are the owner. So, intuitively, we know. Science also tells us that when people die, there's something more that happens. People sometimes remember previous lives. Sometimes here on the right, you can see people have near-death experiences. At a time when they're clinically dead, they perceive everything going on from a perspective outside of their body. And when they come back to life, they describe everything that was happening at a time when they were supposed to be dead. So all these things. Experience and many world religions. This is Greek philosophers, Socrates, Plato. They all believed in reincarnation. Many religions believe in reincarnation. So this is all there. So like this, what is being described in this shloka is that Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti konteya sadatad bhava bhavita. That whatever state you remember when you are leaving this world, antakale chamameva, whatever you remember at the final time, that will determine your next destination. So the devotee is praying that it's a difficult. And does anyone know how the pain that is described at the point of death, how it's described in Shastra? Does anyone know what is equal to?
Biting of
Scorpion
40,000
bites.
scorpions at the same time.
10,000 scorpion bites. Very painful. 40,000, I think there are different numbers. I heard 10,000. Anyway, it's a lot. Very, very painful. So therefore the devotee realizes, I need Krishna's help. So they surrender to Krishna. And we can't remember Krishna in pain unless we've remembered Krishna throughout our life, isn't it? Like whatever is inside, like they say, when you squeeze an orange, you will not get lemon juice. You will only get what's inside. So an ancient Bengali saying says, Bhajana kara, sadhana kara, murtya janle hoy. All of your bhajan, all of your sadhana, we will understand what is the real substance of it all at the time of death. Prabhupada says a parrot can chant Hare Krishna mechanically, but at the time of death, it will only say, Ko, Ko, Ko. It won't say Hare Krishna because it's just doing it mechanically only. So therefore, unless you have realization, unless you have some bhav, unless you have some real connection, unless you really take shelter of Krishna in this life, now, what will be the chance at the time of death? Very, very small chance. So anyway, yeah, all these points are here. So we have 10, 15 minutes left. If there are any final questions anyone would like to ask on Isopanisad, any of these shlokas, or if you would like to ask any questions in general about study of Shastra or about spiritual life, then we have 10 minutes if anyone would like to ask anything. Otherwise, we have to give you an early night tonight. Yeah, Bimla Prasad Prabhu, did you put your hand up?
It's because on behalf of these other devotees, like sometimes, you have to do all this odd jobs. These devotees were asking me about you. So now, like, I think suddenly everybody's maybe feeling intimidated. I don't know. These
Sure,
devotees
sure.
asking
No,
me about you. Yeah. How did you like
yeah,
started
if you want to ask
your
me any
journey?
questions about my small, insignificant life, then I'm happy to share with you all the mistakes that I made in my life.
This was the ask a monk anything like series.
Yeah,
Maharaj, I
sure.
had a question.
Yes.
Bina.
Maharaj, yes, that how you come towards this journey,
I'm towards
like in
Krishna.
Krishna consciousness.
Oh, okay. Um, I don't, it's hard to say. There are many, many things, but when I was 15 years old, I started having many questions of life. And And so my friend gave me Bhagavad Gita when I was 15. And so I began reading it, but I couldn't understand it. But then what I would do is I would go to the temple and then ask all the brahmacharis many questions. So basically, if you come close to a devotee, it's very dangerous because they have some shakti, you know. So I was 15 years old. I was spending time with the brahmacharis, and my father said, "Don't get too close to these guys in orange. Maybe you'll become an orange yourself." So somehow or other, he had some ability to see the future. So yeah, then I began. We had a youth group in London called Pandavasena. So then I joined the youth group. Then I was 18. Then I went to university. So in university, we were doing all kind of preaching on campus. So then I got more interested, and then when I graduated, I went to Chowpatty at 21, and then I joined at 21 the temple full time, and then yeah, then what can I say? The rest is history. That was 25 years ago. So somehow or other, Krishna, the Vaishnavas are tolerating me. So yeah, just trying, just trying. Thank
A
you,
couple of
Mataji. Yes.
there's a couple of questions even in the chat, Maharaj. Like
Okay, I'll
more.
take the live ones and then we'll go there. Yeah,
Yes.
Tulsi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, I want to ask you that, like, you are too young, and I just want to ask you that what thing still motivated you to be a sannyasi?
Um, Actually, I don't think being a sannyasi makes me anything more advanced than anyone else. We all have our nature. We all have our path. Some of you will be mothers, some of you will be fathers, some of you will work in the world. Maybe someone here will also take sannyas. I don't know. It's possible. Maybe Bimla Prashad will take sannyas. Let's see. Anything. But
Rakan is in the
Grihe
room.
Thakur, Grihe Thakur, Vane Thakur, Sadahari Bole Dako. It doesn't matter. So therefore, you look at Panchatattva, for example, they were all different ashrams, you know. So what can I say? We all have a nature. So for me, this was my nature to live like this, more like simple. It's just my nature. So, but I have to do everything you have to do. I have to wake up in the morning on time. I have to chant my rounds. I have to read the Shastra, just like you. And if you do it, if I do it, if anyone does it, they're going to have a wonderful life. So, like some of you are going to be mothers, yeah? It's like a massive, like for us sannyasis, we look at mothers and we think like, my God, how can you do this? This is like too much. How do you manage to be so selfless? We can't understand. And you look at us and you think, what are you guys doing? I can't understand. What are you doing? Because we are all different. But no, one is not higher than the other. Yeah. A mother is very selfless. Like now I'm in US, so I have to cook for myself. So the other day I was cooking and I was thinking, oh, this takes so long, you know. And then I thought my mother cooked every single day for 50 years. That is amazing. What devotion. So it's amazing. Whatever you do it for Krishna, and it becomes amazing. So, sannyasi, mother, father, student, give your life to Krishna, That's the main thing. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
Maharaj.
Hitika.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. So my question is not from Upanishad, it's from Bhagavad Gita. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure.
So it's from chapter 4. It is mentioned that those who have material desires, they ask from demigods. And then it is mentioned that Krishna, whatever we do, Krishna reciprocates. So it means that we have to ask whatever we have desire, we have to ask from Krishna. So then my main question is, um, anything which I ask from Krishna, whether it's material or it's spiritual, is it temporary or permanent?
So if you ask something from Krishna, is it temporary or permanent? Is that your question?
Yeah, whether it's material or spiritual, both.
See, even if you have material desires, it's better to worship Krishna because what Krishna will do is he will reciprocate in such a way that your material desire will disappear. Right? Someone can find this verse and put it on the chat. Akama sarvakamo va moksha kama udaradi divraina bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. This verse says, even if you have no material desires, or if you have every single material desire, just worship Krishna. Because what will happen is if you worship Krishna, don't worry about the result being temporary or permanent. The point is, the whole material desire will disappear. Krishna will reciprocate with you in such a way that you'll remember. Who's the example of someone who had a material desire, worshipped Krishna, and then said, what was I asking all of this for?
Dhruva.
Dhruva
Dhruva
Maharaj.
Maharaj. स्थानाभिलाषी तपसि स्थितोऽहं त्वं प्राप्तवान् देव मुनिदृगूयं काचं विचिन्वन्नपि दिव्यरत्नं स्वामिन् कृतार्थोऽस्मि परं न याचे. He said, I found a gem, and what was I looking for? I was looking for something, and instead I found a valuable gem. What was he looking for?
Broken pieces of glass.
Broken pieces of glass. All right, so Krishna will remove all your material desires. All right?
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Jagdish Hari Prabhu? Yeah, sorry, Jagdish Giridhari Prabhu. No?
Thank you so much. Am I
Oh, yes, you're audible,
audible?
yes.
Okay, okay. So I was saying one of your reel, which was over the Bhagavad Gita. You gave the conclusion or the summary in 2 minutes of Bhagavad Gita. So we have been reading Bhagavad Gita since our few years. So I've never been through such kind of darshan or seeing the Bhagavad Gita in such a way. The way you present it in 2 minutes. So what I'll say, your vision was quite fresh uh, overlooking to the Bhagavad Gita. So, how can we manage to have the fresher view of the Shastras and not being very rigid to the traditionalist view, or in this same way, not being overly speculative and keep our focus on philosophical or meditation over Krishna only. So how to balance that and have the fresher view of the Bhagavad Gita or any other literature
Yeah, in
to
one
improve
sense, I
the
don't
darshan,
think,
you say in this
yeah.
topic.
No, thank you, Prabhu. In one sense, I don't think it's about having a fresher view, but it's just being able to translate the same thing into the language of the people who you're speaking to, right? Like, say, for example, if I have an English Bhagavad Gita and then I go to Spain, then we have to translate the English into Spanish, no? So we wouldn't say the Spanish it's a fresh Bhagavad Gita. It's the same Bhagavad Gita, it's just translated in a different language. Now, Jagadish Hari, Giridhari Prabhu, what I would say is you have to do a translation not just into French or Spanish, you need to do a translation into Gen Z. You need to do a translation into Alpha. You need to do a translation into 2025 language. It's not nothing new. All we're doing is we're saying the same thing in a language of the people who are receiving it. So, for example, if I say God, or if I say we are worshipping divinity, same thing. But sometimes people don't like the word God. So, okay, we'll call it divinity. If you like that word, no problem. It's just another translation. So, you know, so the way I break down the Gita, I say the first chapter is redefining success. That's basically what's happening. Arjun is thinking, what's the point of having all these material things? It's not going to make me happy. Redefining success, right? Second chapter, rediscovering identity. Well, the whole chapter is about the soul, and the soul is our deepest identity. And in the world, people feel like they have inauthenticity. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am. I feel like I'm putting on a show. That's the whole thing, right? So the point is, we are just translating it in, just think of it as translating to the language of Gen Z. That's all we're doing. Not changing, not adding, not subtracting, just translating into the language of Gen Z. All right. Thank you. Nice question.
So, Maharaj, I have another question. So, how can we use ourselves as the using our fullest potential into the service of Krishna, and in the same time fulfilling all our responsibilities uh, in the fullest potential Krishna has given us, not being settled down, not being settled down in something lesser, and in the same time not being very much making unnecessary endeavors, so that don't go in the atyahara prayasa. And in the same way, we don't become lazy and use our fullest potential into the service of Krishna. And sometimes, Maharaj, it also happens like when we take time as the most valuable asset, and have many things in line scheduled one after another throughout the days for weeks and months. So sometimes burnout happens. So how to differentiate between having patience uh, for for achieving something good versus being impatient? So difference between
Thank you.
passion versus
Yes.
the
Yes. Yes. I got it.
utsa.
Yes. Udahan.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Well, before I answer that, just I've put on the chat, we've just begun a course for preachers. If you want to know how to translate to the language of Gen Z, it's a long course, it's 10 months, it's only once a month call, but then we have readings and different things. If you're interested, you can still join. It's completely free, but you have to put your time and energy into it. So if you want to find out about it, you can read online. If you're interested, you can join. So that's just for any of you who are interested in learning about some of these things, how to preach more effectively. In answer to your question, Prabhu, this could be a long, long question. Everything is balance. You have your material duties, you have your spiritual life, your inner life, you have your spiritual service, your contribution, you have relationships, social things that you have to attend to. So you have to be patient. Everything is not done immediately. You have to work on your life little bit by little bit. Um, and always keep your chanting and your devotee sangha strong. If you keep your chanting and your devotee sangha strong, then you'll understand how to balance the other aspects. And with guidance, you can understand what to do at what time, like that. So, Prabhu, I'm just giving a quick answer because I think we also have to wrap up soon. But you can discuss this more with others. Yeah. All right, Mataji, I'm seeing more hands, but I think maybe we have to stop here because already in your part of the world, it must be 10 o'clock, no?
Yes.
9:30, Maharaj, for mostly of us.
Oh, because you're in Pakistan?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, okay. But it's quite late, no? Then you also have to get up for Mangalarti and everything. I know you're all getting up for Mangalarti, so I don't want to disturb your program. So thank you. It's been wonderful to be with all of you. Amazing to see what you're doing. Um, who knows? Maybe one day I can stop over in Pakistan on the way to India or something. See you all. That would be nice. Where are you all? In like the same city, like Lahore, Karachi, or where are you?
All are in different cities, Maharaj. Some are from
Oh.
Karachi, some from Sakkar, some are from
But you
Hyderabad.
can't have a temple there, right? Or you can have it. You can't have a temple.
We are having centers here, and the temple
Oh.
is on a construction now.
Oh, where's the first temple? There's the first temple.
In Hyderabad, yeah. It will be the first biggest temple.
Oh, wonderful. Great news. Well, you're all doing incredible. Keep going and just create a beautiful community, inspire each other. And yeah, there's my friend Rasal Prabhu. How are you? You coming in from Delhi or where are you?
Marge, I wrote to you a couple of days back only. So I'm in
Yeah,
Spain. So I'm
you
using
got
your.
the reply, right? They replied to you, right?
Yeah, Dimple replied to me, and
Yeah.
thereafter, a person who is in touch with me.
So where are you now?
Madrid, Spain, Maharaj.
Oh, you're in Spain. Okay. You come onto the Sangha regularly?
Very frequently, Maharaj.
Oh, okay. Rasal Prabhu is your teacher. Wonderful. You're very fortunate.
For responding to the mail, Maharaj, and I'm using your resources for my preaching here in Madrid. And as you mentioned, I'm translating those material into Spanish. It's the same thing.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
This is presented to the audience here.
Okay, everyone. Well, nice to see you, and forgive me for any offenses, any mistakes. Always wonderful to be with the family in another part of the world. May you be successful, and if you feel kind, put in a prayer for me that I can make my life successful, just like all of you. And wishing you the best on your journey. Perhaps we'll meet somewhere
Thank
in
you
the
so much,
ISKCON world.
Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for even accepting our invitation and for giving us your association. Thank you so much. And Bimla Prasad Prabhu.
Thank you so much. Maharaj. Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
All right, everyone.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
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 Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Jai. Maharaj logged out. Thank you for your presence. It's good to like आप लोग
Yes,
सब
I'm
आए।
here. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, Maharaj, I lost your
Wishing you
connection.
the best. All right. Yes, we'll meet again soon somewhere. Take
Sure,
care,
Maharaj.
everyone. Haribol.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Well, Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Right. Okay, so let's call it a day. Hare Krishna.